Hey, super excited to share this with you. Let me explain what each column does. So the scope, the goal, the outcome for this is to track any VA time in this Google Sheet spreadsheet, because when you track your time, when you do the totals on a daily, weekly and monthly basis, depending on where you spend your time on average, whether you are doing that through Upwork, Guru, LinkedIn, Facebook, email, for example. So let's put it email. Okay, let's add here blog or other platform. If you have other platform, okay, maybe use Pinterest, Instagram or TikTok, or let's see what's the trend nowadays, Clubhouse. I don't know. If you use any other platform other than Upwork, Guru, LinkedIn, Facebook, email, blog, just mention it here in this column. Why it's important? Because once you are able to track your time on a daily, weekly and monthly basis, you will know if you need to increase your price, change your package, upsell, and get less clients, because it's not worth the effort to work more just by thinking that if you work more you will get paid more. In theory, yes, but our goal with this exercise, with this challenge which I have for you, once you fill out this Google Sheet, it may take you 1-2 hours, probably a day or two. It depends on your habits and on your past engagement with the clients. Depending on how much time you spend on each one of these platforms, depending on whether you are serving clients or prospecting or whatever other task you do during the day or late at night, you'll be able to see, to calculate with accuracy how much free time you have, because you'll be able to see how you can shift the task, how you can change the time you spend, so that whatever you do becomes more productive. It will increase your output at the same time. That's why this Google Sheet, this VA time tracking exercise, and part of this lesson is to teach you really to have a clear perception or where your time is going to, so that you know next where to best spend your time on. So let's do a quick walkthrough. Just as you have noticed here, the first column, it describes the task. So on average, I want you to consider how much time you spend on a daily basis serving your clients on Upwork platform alone. Okay, so depending on where you are the most active, if you have a blog, for example, and you spend most of your time there on a daily basis, you need to type in here how much time you spend on a daily basis, whether it's 5 minutes or 50 minutes or an hour. Just spend on average how much time you spend on a daily basis. Okay, and based on your response here, like for example, if you type in 1 hour a day here, right, so that's the first input, then on average you should spend 5 hours, right? And on a monthly basis, just on the blog alone, you should be spending, you multiply 4 weeks with 5 hours, so that's about 20 hours a week on average. Now we have to understand that this is just to serve actual clients. So if you have 1 client or 10 clients, I have no clue. You will have to do the math, and here in this column you will have to keep into account all these platforms where you are active serving clients. So if you got a client from a blog and if you have another client which you got from Upwork and you have to serve that client on Upwork or maybe on Guru, or maybe you got a client from LinkedIn, whether you got a client from LinkedIn and you bring him or her on Upwork to build your Upwork profile, it doesn't matter. You have to identify first of all from which platform you get your client, right? And how much time you spend on a daily basis to serve that client. So if you, for example, if you serve a client on Upwork or multiple clients on Upwork and you serve like 2 hours a day each day. On Guru, let's say on Guru you have no clients, on LinkedIn you have no clients because you already brought the client on Upwork, so it's the same thing. On let's say that on Facebook you serve or you got one client. So in total you have 4 hours that you dedicate, overall 4 hours each day combined. So you type in 4 hours. That means on a weekly basis, if you work from Monday to Friday, okay, you know your schedule best, but most freelancers are most active during weekdays, okay? So let's do a case scenario where on a weekly basis you dedicate 20 hours to serve your clients, whether it's one client or 10 clients, okay? We do the general math here, the average, okay? And then on a monthly basis that would be like 80 hours, okay? Now I forgot to mention that you have to actually make a copy of this Google Sheet file, because you have to save this on your drive and work on your own file, okay? So this is not editable. It's just for me to share with you an example on how you need to understand this Google Sheet and what you need to do to actually fill it out with accuracy, okay? So strive to gather reliable information. 99% of freelance service providers out there isn't using a time tracking tool like this, or isn't used to do these exercises. This is what makes this lesson in itself so powerful and profitable, okay? So do not overlook any of these aspects. Now please observe this last column. Whenever you have some observations or extra input to add, depending on each column, depending on each task or field, just add information here, okay? Now next task is prospecting. In my experience, and after talking with a ton other freelancers and professionals, after observing the marketplace, sadly the reality is that most people, although they don't serve enough clients, meaning they have enough time, they don't devote enough time into actually engaging with new prospects, with new clients, which is very, very sad. So we have to turn this upside down. Like, for example, if you have enough time, you should devote more time. You should dedicate either in the morning or in the afternoon or late at night. It's up to you when you set aside at least 30 minutes a day for prospecting. Ideally, if you don't have enough clients and if you have enough time, you should extend that to 1 hour or 2 hours or more. Or you can work with you can partner up with another VA to engage on your behalf. The more engagement you do online, the more conversation you start online on different platforms, the higher your chance to land better and more clients, higher paying clients, your dream clients. So let's say that on average you do here on Upwork 30 minutes. You also do cold outreach, for example, 30 minutes, And here on blog, maybe you comment on other relevant blogs in your field. Another 30 minutes. Okay, on Facebook maybe you spend an hour. So far we have let's say on LinkedIn you spend 30 minutes, which is a great source, a great pool of customers. LinkedIn, it's amazing. So we have 1 hour, 1 hour, 3 hours. Okay, 3 hours a day. That would be 3 multiplied by 4, 12 hours a week, and 12 multiplied by 4, that would be 48 hours a month, right? So once again, if you feel like you need to add some observations here next to the prospecting, just type in whatever comes into mind. Now, miscellaneous, what this field is all about. Here, imagine, just probably like I do, I spend time on YouTube, I educate myself, I learn new things, I read books, I read articles, I print blog posts, I learn from others, I go on LinkedIn, I read, I participate into Facebook mastermind groups, Facebook private groups, Facebook free Facebook groups, I read newsletters. So depending on how much time you spend on Facebook, LinkedIn, depending on educating yourself on different platforms, you have to type in this as well. Like for example, YouTube, if you spend time on YouTube, whether it's just for leisure or for educating, you have to keep both into account and use that here. So that's if you're using YouTube, okay, you would add YouTube here. Let's say you spend 1 hour a day. Most VAs probably spend a lot more, okay, but let's just estimate 1 hour. If you read blog posts or articles or websites, just write however how much time you spend on blogs alone on a daily basis. So we always want to track our time accurately on a daily basis first, and then we count the total, because sometimes you don't spend your time, you don't have the same schedule set on a daily basis the same, so it varies. That's why we work with average, okay, and we do the overall math. Now, if you spend time on Facebook as well, you may want to in groups or chatting with friends or clients or prospects. But by the way, prospects not. So do not count time spent on prospecting on Facebook. Only if you do other miscellaneous activities, okay? So we have to distinguish between whether you serve clients on Facebook, whether you do prospecting, or whether you do other miscellaneous tasks. This is very, very important. If you participate in Facebook groups to educate yourself, if you read some Facebook posts, on Facebook you add the number of minutes or hours, okay, the time it takes you to go to those posts on a daily basis. Let's say here we spend 30 minutes on LinkedIn reading posts. It's, let's say, just 1 hour, just for the sake of the example, to round the numbers. So we have pretty much the same, okay, just as an example, the same results here. Now here is the last row. Here we want to do the math, okay, the math on a daily, weekly and monthly basis. It's very, very important you fill out each and every row for each and every correspondent column. It's important. Based on this, by the way, miscellaneous, here you should also include other tasks that you like. For example, if you participate in coaching or mentoring as well, which is also about educating yourself, just add that time as well. Now the next row, is how much time you are left with, how much free time you are left with. If you serve clients for X specific amount of time, if you do prospecting for X amount of time, and if you do other miscellaneous tasks, whether to educate yourself or for leisure like chatting with friends or buddies, or just reading stuff, magazines or newsletters, or educating yourself, it doesn't matter. Here we count them all. Just even if you exercise or you get out, you count them all here as well, right? And based on that, you will be able on a daily basis to see how much time you work and how much free time you are left with. Because if you don't have much time to work on anything else, then probably you need to work on removing some activities, some miscellaneous task which is not helping you with prospecting or serving clients. And there are different ways and approaches and methods to go about that, so you have to go through this step by step. Serving clients is important because they pay the bills, they generate cash flow, but prospecting is as important, if not even more important, because if you lack clients, if you lack enough clients or enough high-paying clients, then you have a problem. So you have to focus more on prospecting, better prospecting, different methods, different platforms. Also, the same way goes for miscellaneous tasks. If you just waste time doing non-productive tasks, if you spend too much time on YouTube, as I often do, or other VAs do, ensure you keep account and keep track and monitor this task, and you will see how much time you have left on a daily, weekly and monthly basis. This is so important. Next row, time tracking tools. Here in the observations, just type in whatever time tracking tool you are using. Like for example, you may be using Clockify or other tools or apps, or you may use Upwork time tracking tool feature itself. So just type in here. Now for client management tools, personally I'm using Bonsai. It helps with clients, it helps with invoices, it also keeps track of time. So that's a paid tool. You may want to use that or something similar, probably use different other tools. And for project management, just type in whatever tools you are using. Personally, I love Google Documents, Google Drive folders, Google Sheets. That's it. Now the ball is in your court. Next, I'm looking forward to receiving your feedback, whatever questions, comments, suggestions or concerns you may have about this training, about this lesson, about this exercise. Just let me know. Before we move forward with the next step, I need to hear from you. Thank you very much. Thank you for being with me. God bless.